You already know what agroforestry systems are, but what is no one telling you about them? While many people focus only on the obvious benefits, such as increased biodiversity and soil regeneration, there are lesser discussed aspects that can make all the difference in the success or failure of an agroforestry system. There are techniques, strategies, and even fatal mistakes that can compromise all your work. If you want to go beyond the basics and truly master the secrets behind successful agroforestry systems, then stay with me until the end. Today, we will reveal what no one is talking about and show you how to apply this in practice to maximize your production and make your system truly sustainable and profitable. Agroforestry systems represent an innovative and sustainable approach to agricultural production, combining trees, shrubs, crops, and, in some cases, livestock within the same productive space. This integration allows for more efficient use of natural resources, promotes biodiversity, and improves the resilience of production systems. However, agroforestry is not a single, fixed model. Different environmental conditions, productive goals, and cultural practices have given rise to distinct types of agroforestry systems, each with its own characteristics and specific benefits. Understanding this diversity is essential to choosing the best approach for each situation. Different agroforestry systems have emerged from the need to adapt cultivation to local conditions and the objectives of farmers and communities. Factors such as climate, soil type, available plant species, traditional practices, and market demand influence the structure and format of each agroforestry system. Additionally, the production focus can vary according to farmers' interests. Some systems are aimed at food production, such as coffee, cocoa, fruits, and vegetables, while others prioritize wood production, fiber crops, animal forage, or environmental restoration. This flexibility makes agroforestry a viable solution for different contexts, from small family farms to large commercial enterprises. Agroforestry systems can be adapted according to ecological and socioeconomic factors, ensuring that they remain productive and sustainable in the long term. Some adaptations include the selection of species suited to local climate and soil, defining the production focus, integrating with other agricultural systems, and using ecological succession and stratification. These adaptations ensure that agroforestry systems are resilient, efficient, and capable of generating benefits for both producers and the environment. The choice of the agroforestry system should consider aspects such as economic objectives, resource availability, technical knowledge, and regional environmental characteristics. Choosing the right model can determine the success of the agroforestry system and its long-term viability. Agroforestry systems can take different forms depending on environmental conditions, productive goals, and farmers' needs. From ancestral practices to modern models focused on soil regeneration and large-scale production, each type of agroforestry presents unique characteristics and specific benefits. Next, we will explore the main types of agroforestry and their applications in different contexts. The first type of agroforestry systems I bring here is traditional agroforestry. Traditional agroforestry is based on empirical knowledge passed down through generations, where farmers manage the land in an integrated way, respecting natural cycles and promoting long-term ecological balance. Unlike conventional agro-industrial systems, which often exploit soil intensively and degrade ecosystems, traditional agroforestry systems are based on harmonious coexistence with nature, ensuring soil fertility, biodiversity, and climate resilience. Indigenous peoples and traditional communities have developed highly adapted production systems for local environmental conditions, using techniques such as agroforestry consortia, where different plant species are cultivated in the same space, simulating the diversity and stratification of a natural forest. The use of native species, ecological succession, crop rotation, and controlled burning with soil enrichment. These practices result in efficient use of natural resources, promoting biodiversity conservation and long-term sustainability. The use of native plant species is one of the pillars of traditional agroforestry. Besides being more adapted to the climate and soil, These species play essential roles in the ecosystem, such as soil erosion protection, improving water retention and conservation, nitrogen fixation and increased soil fertility, and providing food and habitat for local fauna. One of the most emblematic examples of traditional agroforestry systems occurs in the Amazon, where indigenous peoples have developed highly productive and sustainable agroforestry systems. Among them are the Terra Preta de Indio Amazonian dark earth systems, in which archaeological studies have revealed that Amazonian indigenous people created extremely fertile soils known as Terra Preta de Indio through the incorporation of organic matter and charcoal into the soil. This management allowed for sustainable cultivation of various agricultural species over centuries. Although traditional agroforestry is an ancient practice, it remains highly relevant in the modern scenario. Many principles of this model are incorporated into contemporary approaches to regenerative agriculture and permaculture, inspiring solutions to restore degraded soils and strengthen climate resilience. The second type of agroforestry systems we will discuss here is the agro-silvicultural systems. Agro-silvicultural systems are one of the most widespread forms of agroforestry systems, characterized by the combination of trees and agricultural crops in the same productive space. This model allows different plant species to interact synergistically, optimizing land use and improving production sustainability. In a context where soil degradation and climate change challenge conventional agriculture, agro-silvicultural systems emerge as an efficient alternative to increase productivity, conserve natural resources, and diversify farmers' income. Agro-silvicultural systems combine tree species with short-cycle or perennial agricultural crops. This integration is planned to ensure that plants benefit each other, creating a more balanced and productive environment. Agroforestry systems based on the agro-silvicultural model bring several advantages for both farmers and the environment. Among the main benefits are income diversification and economic security, improved soil quality, and protection against climate change and water stress. Agro-silvicultural systems are not limited to tropical regions. In the United States and Europe, where the climate ranges from temperate to continental, these systems have been adapted to include native trees and agricultural crops. Here, I highlight a successful example of agro-silvicultural systems, which is the cultivation of nuts and small grains. Farmers have combined walnut, Juglans nigra, and pecan, Caria illinoinensis, cultivation with annual crops such as corn, wheat, and soybeans. This system allows for grain production in the spaces between trees, while the walnuts and pecans grow and offer a high-value commercial product over time. The implementation of an agro-silvicultural system must take into account factors such as species selection, spacing between trees and crops, soil and water management, and succession planning. Some key guidelines include selecting compatible species, planning planting density, and implementing crop rotation. The third type of agroforestry systems we will discuss here is silvopastoral systems. Silvopastoral systems are one of the most efficient models within agroforestry systems, combining trees, pastures, and livestock production in the same productive environment. This approach improves pasture quality, increases livestock productivity, and reduces the environmental impact of cattle and other ruminant farming. In the United States and Europe, where extensive livestock farming occupies large areas and faces challenges such as soil degradation and greenhouse gas emissions, silvopastoral systems emerge as a sustainable alternative to balanced production and environmental conservation. Silvopastoral systems structure the agricultural landscape strategically, integrating different elements to ensure both ecological and economic benefits. These elements include scattered trees or tree rows within pastures, high-quality forage species, functional biodiversity, where trees and shrubs provide shelter and food for birds, pollinating insects, and natural pest predators, and a closed nutrient cycle. The implementation of silvopastoral systems offers significant advantages for both producers and the environment, such as improved animal welfare, soil recovery, and erosion control, income diversification, reduction of environmental impact from livestock farming, and climate resilience. Silvopastoral systems have been applied in various regions, adapting to different biomes and agricultural chains. Examples include integrated livestock farming with oak and walnut trees or silvopastoral systems with orchards and sheep. The implementation of a silvopastoral system requires careful planning to ensure that the integration of trees, pastures, and livestock is efficient and sustainable. Some key guidelines include selecting appropriate tree species, defining the correct spacing, choosing high-quality grasses and legumes, and implementing rotational grazing and proper pasture management. The fourth type of agroforestry systems we will discuss here is successional agroforestry systems. Successional agroforestry systems represent one of the most advanced forms of agroforestry systems, as they aim to replicate the natural dynamics of forests to ensure continuous soil regeneration and productivity. Instead of relying on external inputs or conventional cultivation practices, this system is based on ecological principles, ensuring that the soil becomes more fertile over time while biodiversity increases. The main characteristic of successional agroforestry systems is planned ecological succession. This concept, inspired by the natural regeneration of forests, means that different plant species are cultivated in an organized manner over time, ensuring a continuous renewal of the agricultural ecosystem. Some key strategies of this system include vegetation stratification, high planting density and diversity, planned natural succession, proper pruning and canopy management, and permanent soil cover. This agricultural model not only improves soil productivity, but also enhances its carbon retention capacity, making it an essential strategy for regenerative agriculture. Successional agroforestry systems function based on ecological principles that guarantee continuous production without environmental degradation. This also includes maintaining natural soil fertility, supporting soil microbial life, and ensuring continuous and long-term production. Unlike monocultures that rapidly deplete soil nutrients, successional systems ensure harvests at different times of the year, providing economic and productive stability for farmers. Successional agroforestry systems have been increasingly applied in different contexts in North America and Europe, especially for restoring degraded areas and improving agricultural productivity without relying on synthetic fertilizers. An example of successional agroforestry systems is the integration of short-cycle vegetables, such as carrots and beets, with fruit trees, such as olive and almond trees, and large trees, such as cork oaks and common oaks. This model improves water retention in dry regions. The implementation of a successional agroforestry system requires careful planning and appropriate species selection to ensure that succession occurs in a balanced and productive manner. Some key guidelines include identifying species adapted to the local climate and soil, planning succession in productive cycles, maintaining constant soil cover, and integrating different vegetation layers. The fifth type of agroforestry systems we will discuss here is regenerative agroforestry. Regenerative agroforestry is one of the most promising approaches within agroforestry systems, as it combines the principles of regenerative agriculture with the diversity and resilience of agroforestry systems. Its main goal is to restore degraded soils, regenerate natural ecosystems, and increase agricultural productivity in a sustainable way. Unlike conventional models that only reduce the environmental impact of agriculture, regenerative agroforestry goes further, seeking to reverse the damage caused by soil degradation, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. Some essential principles of this approach include permanent vegetation cover, increased biodiversity, biological nitrogen fixation, and nutrient cycling. Soil degradation and biodiversity loss are common challenges in modern agriculture. Regenerative agroforestry acts as a solution to this problem by employing strategies that restore the ecological functioning of natural systems. Some of the key benefits of regenerative agroforestry include soil structure recovery, increased organic matter, temperature and microclimate control, reintroduction of native species, and the regeneration of degraded pastures. By adopting these strategies, regenerative agroforestry systems provide benefits both for agricultural production and for the environment. Regenerative agroforestry systems are being successfully implemented in different regions around the world, adapting to local climatic and agricultural conditions. In areas where extensive livestock farming has caused soil erosion and compaction, farmers are adopting regenerative agroforestry by introducing trees such as honey mesquite, Prosopis glandulosa, and pecan Caria illinoinensis to improve moisture retention and reduce pasture degradation. Regenerative agroforestry can be applied in various contexts, from small farms to large areas of degraded pastures. Some key guidelines for implementation include selecting species adapted to local climate and soil, integrating cover crops and green manure, maintaining permanent soil cover, and promoting planned ecological succession. And finally, the sixth type of agroforestry systems we will discuss here is syntropic agroforestry. Syntropic agroforestry is one of the most advanced and innovative models within agroforestry systems, as it combines highly planned management with the principles of natural succession and plant stratification. This system was developed by the Swiss researcher Ernst Gotsch, who applied his ideas in Brazil, revolutionizing the way agriculture can become a tool for environmental regeneration and sustainable production. The foundation of syntropic agroforestry lies in observing nature. Over time, forests and natural ecosystems go through a process of ecological succession, where pioneer species prepare the soil for more demanding species, promoting a continuous cycle of regeneration. This principle is directly applied to syntropic agroforestry management. Natural succession in the syntropic system plays a crucial role, where short, medium, and long-cycle species are combined at all strata: ground layer, low, medium, high, and emergent layers. This fully respects the natural succession of a forest. Additionally, this organization maximizes the use of sunlight and soil nutrients, making production highly efficient and sustainable. Syntropic agroforestry is not a static system. Its success depends on active agroforestry management, which includes strategic pruning, ecological succession control, and planned crop rotation. Regular pruning stimulates the system's growth and regeneration. The organic material from pruning is left on the soil, promoting nutrient cycling and increasing organic matter. This replaces the need for chemical fertilizers and improves soil structure. Unlike other agroforestry systems, syntropic agroforestry requires detailed succession planning. The farmer must decide which species will be planted, ensuring that each stage of succession keeps the soil covered and that the transition between phases occurs naturally and productively. The presence of diverse agricultural and forestry species in the same space reduces the incidence of pests and diseases, making the system more resilient. Additionally, it increases the availability of diverse foods throughout the year. Furthermore, high plant diversity improves water infiltration into the soil, reduces the need for irrigation, and makes the system more drought-resistant. The model developed by Ernst Gotsch in Brazil has inspired farmers around the world, leading to adaptations of syntropic agroforestry in different climates and biomes. Syntropic agroforestry has been used to restore degraded agricultural soils, combining nuts, apples, and berries with valuable hardwoods such as oak and chestnut. Syntropic agroforestry requires detailed planning and active management. Some key guidelines include mapping the phases of ecological succession, selecting species adapted to the climate, implementing regular pruning, and monitoring the system's evolution. Now you know the details that make all the difference in agroforestry systems and understand why many people don't talk about this. The truth is that the success of these systems is not just about planting trees alongside crops, but about strategic management and adapting to the real conditions of the soil, climate, and your production. The question now is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you apply these strategies to transform your agroforestry system? Or will you continue repeating the same mistakes, that prevent many producers from reaching the true potential of agroforestry. If you want to dive even deeper and learn techniques that really work, subscribe to the channel now. Here, you'll find exclusive content on agroforestry systems, regenerative practices, and strategies to increase your productivity in a sustainable and profitable way. Activate notifications and stay tuned, because in the next video, we will bring even more advanced insights to optimize your agroforestry system. Next, I'll leave a video about the principles of regenerative agriculture, which is closely related to agroforestry systems, so you can deepen your understanding of this topic. See you soon. Let's move towards a bountiful earth.